Hello people of the verse and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and in today's video we are going to talk about Star Citizen Alpha 3.12, which is now in the PTU. It is of course only for the Evocati, but nevertheless it is great to see that it seems to be on time and on track for a release before the holiday season. So let's jump straight to it. Well, before that, actually, let's talk about the giveaways, and shout out to Cole N for winning the package that includes the rock and the cutlass with lifetime insurance. You have 10 days to claim your prize, and I have contacted you on Discord. Speaking of Discord, if you are on my Discord, you still have also a chance to win a Super Hornet in December with lifetime insurance as well. Good luck to everybody out there. More info at the end of this video. Anyway guys, so let's talk about Star Citizen Alpha 3.12, and these are I was gonna say leaks, right? Well, kind of leaks, of course. These are patch notes brought to you not by Star Citizen Leaks, but by a REFERRAL channel on Discord that doesn't want to have too much traction, so I will not talk about them, but I will say how much I appreciate their work here. So major bug fixes first. The pitch ladder should no longer display while sitting in non-pilot's seats. They fixed an issue that was causing ship canopies to open and close without user input. At last, finally they're saying, and it's true, this is something that you are seeing a lot when I am flying the M50 or also the Gladius. Yeah, it's very annoying. They fixed an issue where decoupled space brakes cause the velocity vector to change. Weapon sound effects should now play correctly when vehicle weapons are fired. Ships landed at New Babbage and Lovell should now be able to be stored at last. And they fixed an issue that should cause Restop's elevator to duplicate, which made them inaccessible, especially if I remember that was her L3 that has this issue. This is fixed. The Night Runner Star Runner paint is now has proper cockpit glass color. Character hands would no longer turn their flight stick wheel in the opposite direction to the input being provided. They fixed an issue that caused weapons to twitch and move to a place when switching to third-person camera. Weather VFX should no longer be seen on visor when the player goes up the amphitheater stairs in New Babbage. They fixed an issue with the Animus missile launcher. The Nomad self-destruct audio would no longer stop prematurely when self-destructing the ship. They fixed an issue causing windows and glass displays in Lovell to become blurry when the player is very close to them. Oh yeah, I've noticed that. I thought that it was a feature. That's actually not a feature but a bug. Fixed multiplayer missing building geometry assets while in transit to city gates in Lovell. They fixed an issue causing rock geometry to visually disappear when player is facing certain directions around GrimX. Fixed several areas around the edge of medium-sized hangars in GrimX that were missing breathable atmosphere. Fixed a missing section of railing in the New Babbage Sky Bridge. Ships landing at Platinum Bay landing pads should no longer display their location as uninitialized on vehicle waypoint. They fixed an issue causing some dead zone setting not to be saved properly. They increased the size of a box commodity kiosk to fix large numbers overlapping. Oh wow. The text boxes, sorry. They also fixed the Paragliders variants that should no longer be missing in the comms menu after on all of its MFD screens. 5 client crashes and 5 server crashes, and there's a lot of new features and updates to talk about, and we're going to start here. Well, let's talk about the testing focus of this very first build of Star Citizen Alpha 3.12, shall we? So here we are of course talking about the Space Station Refinery decks, which is one of the new areas in Star Citizen 3.12 that also is going to include some gameplay, which was not the case of course with the cargo decks, so that is quite exciting. The planetary visual improvements to the restricted area rework. Apparently there's going to be once again a rework regarding restricted areas. More about that later in this video. We'll talk about it. Lagrange point spacescaping updates, which looked phenomenal in the last Inside Star Citizen episodes that we saw. The elevator panel updates seem to be in as well. The multi-tool tractor beam, which is purchasable at locations like Area 18 Cubby Blast. However, it is still showing as a placeholder on the terminals. It's not going to be the case in the future, right? Ship entry identification and the mining UI refactor. We'll talk about the known issues later. Let's talk about the new features here. So, Space Station Refinery Decks. These are dedicated areas in rest stops that allow players to drop off mined materials to be refined or buy new mining equipment. These are found, of course, at the Lagrange point rest stops. Speaking of that, they've added the Lagrange points, and they're also updating all extra planetary Lagrange point locations in the PU with improved visuals and first gas cloud implementation. Very exciting here about the first gas clouds implementations. Multi-tool here. The initial implementation of a tractor beam device that attaches onto a multi-tool that allows players to control an object at a small distance without physical contact. Its primary use is that of quickly and remotely moving smaller cargo and other physics-based objects in gravity in 0G, and in 0G if tethering to large objects such as asteroids, space stations, and ships. This can be used as a grapple hook to pull players toward it. This includes a tractor beam UI that displays force and distance gauge, as well as indication if the tether is close to breaking. Players can rotate a tethered item by holding R and moving the mouse cursor. Ship entry identification. So this feature adds dynamic AR markers on the player's display when in close proximity to a vehicle to aid in entry. These contextually change depending on whether the vehicle is landing in space or landed or in space. Sorry about this. And it's basically just a vehicle entry point that you see in your AI. There's nothing very fancy there. They've also added the Bearing FS9 LMG. Now, Bearing designated the FS9 to be an overwhelming battlefield force. This light machine gun features full auto mode that makes it ideal for laying down, covering fire, and holding back advancing enemies. It is also acclaimed for maintaining accuracy while unleashing sustained fire, so it's not like the F-55. The weapon can be purchased at Scudder's in Grimex, so apparently just at Grimex. This is going to be an interesting reason to visit Grimex for sure. Next, we've got the planetary improvements, so further improvements to planetary details and assets, in which includes a detailed global painting pass with consideration to global climate data. We're also refining how objects presets are set up to get a more natural and believable read, as well as introducing some new assets to the biome pack. Updating the remaining geology assets to the organic shader to utilize the latest features. Improve cloud layer visuals on planets. Oh, okay, because that is definitely something that started to look quite ugly. So it's great that it is come back here. Oh, listen to that. We are reintroducing the acidic biome for Hurston and Ariel with Planetech V4. Reintroducing the glossy icy surfaces on Yela and Yela as well. Oh, I've been missing those. I was like, yeah, these surfaces look so nice, and we lost them. I thought that was a shame that we lost them, but they're back. We're looking to showcase the above improvements for this release on planets Hurston, Microtech, as well as Selene, Daymar, Walla, Yela, and Lyria. I cannot wait to see that as well, especially those glossy features looked so nice on Lyria and Yela. It was a shame that they were gone. I'm so glad that they're really back. They're replacing the existing utilitarian elevator panels with buttons that are going to be replaced with interactive screens. That's the elevator panel update. And listen to that, guys. Restricted area rework, Area 18 and Lorville, the removal of landing splines at Area 18 Spaceport and Lorville Spaceport, and updating of restricted flight areas around the spaceport. How is this? How are we going to see the return of the yellow blobs? Please, just get rid of the Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Just let us land and give us fines if we're doing crazy things, or impound the ship. I don't know, but just let us land the way we want to land. Also, mining refactor here. So this update is a brand new interface for all mining capable vehicles, which will provide the player with a clearer overview of what they are currently experiencing, including mining consumables, what they have equipped, their current state, and their duration. The cargo as well. Your cargo pods now should show content and update in real time as you extract materials from mineable deposits. Volatile cargo, the health and estimated time the cargo will last in your cargo hold before collapsing, and volatile cargo itself is highlighted in the UI so that you can't miss it if you collect it. Flight UI, the current flight and gimbal settings of your ship are still active and visible at all times. This new interface is built entirely using the new building block system, which will allow for quicker development, iteration, and testing of new features for the mining system. Countermeasures now. With these improvements to countermeasure gameplay, the amount of deployed countermeasures will play more of an important role in the chance of spoofing missiles. Single countermeasures will be less effective, but players will have the ability to choose how many should be fired with each burst. Different missiles will have varying degrees of countermeasures resilience. Flares have been renamed to lures and now have different modes of control of how multiple launches work, including launch burst, tap H default, or set and launch burst to send out multiple. So this is going to be hold H default. You can increase and decrease the burst size on board by default. Chaff is currently renamed to haze, and countermeasures also have a sound effect rework. These countermeasures are very useful. I was targeted by missiles by NPCs yesterday, and yeah, I wish that I had more of a better idea of how many countermeasures exactly I was sending, and there was no sound at all, so it was quite unintuitive, and they definitely do need a rework. Now about this, guys, torpedo attack and counterbalance behavior. A rebalance of size 9 torpedoes. They are now much deadlier, with only a few direct hits required to bring down larger ships. This extra damage cost comes at the cost of speed, and they are now targetable. It's going to be easier for turrets to take them down. So that's why, yeah, I think that if you want to take down an Idris, a lot of torpedoes are going to be required, not because you need a lot of torpedoes to take it down, but because only a few torpedoes are actually going to hit that Idris and do damage and eventually destroy it, because those torpedoes are going to be destroyed, but it's going to be very difficult for all of the turrets to destroy all of the torpedoes if a lot of torpedoes are being fired at the same time. Now, next, head tracking update. They've updated as well, and smaller quality of life improvements that we will probably talk about in future videos as well. Now listen to that. Ships and vehicles, they increased the hydrogen fuel tank for the Nomad and the Star Runner as well, meaning that those two ships should not be running out of fuel that quickly. The Constellation Andromeda flight maneuverability and acceleration has also been improved, and they reduced verbosity on subships computer notification, and the gloss button of the hammerhead hull is also the gloss amount of the hammerhead hull is also increased. Wow, that is a lot of improvements here. No news as of whether or not actual refining gameplay is in. I have not seen that in the patch notes. That is a little bit worrisome. We know that the refinery decks are there, but there's no word of actual gameplay when it comes to refinery. This gets me worried. Wow, well, let's talk about some of the ongoing bugs here. They still have a couple of known issues that are quite annoying. We're going to start here with attempting to sell minerals result in the processing screen, and then a transaction failed message. It is very difficult to quantum travel to MiG L1, and the player will often QT to INS Jericho instead. Now, what is INS Jericho, guys? That is a new station. It's a military station that is also going to act as a resupplying station as well. We're probably going to have more details in the future, and I'm probably going to make a video as well in the PTU about it. But it seems like we are going to have a military station in the verse near Markotech. The loadout manager for Star Marine has no option for the player to customize their loadout. Oh, really? Well, that is a bug that we've known for quite some time. At least they know it now. Outpost Han and Perman are floating above the planet's surface. Ouch. Ship surface entrance markers are not present until after entering the ship. Well, that's not very useful, right? You have to enter the ship to then know how to enter the ship. Player is unable to move cargo missions with the tractor beam, cargo mission boxes with the tractor beam until after they have moved the cargo once before. Does that mean that we're gonna have new cargo missions that require the tractor beam? I don't know, because we can just, take them and just carry them, but are we gonna have bigger cargo? That's gonna be interesting. The Nomad appears as vehicle _ name CNOU _ Nomad in ASOP terminals. The Avenger series ship is missing multiple HUD elements. That is not a new bug. I've experienced that plenty of times. The multiple instances of social AI can be witnessed idling indefinitely. All asteroids spawn as 100% inert material. Well, don't mine in asteroids right now. Hopefully this will be fixed, because a lot of miners like to stay in asteroid fields, and if they all have 100% inert materials, that's not going to be very profitable. Players are unable to land or take off in some ships due to autopilot taking over at Lorville. Oh man, just get rid of the autopilot. Seriously, get rid of it. Multi-tool tractor beam attachment is shown as placeholder in shop terminals, and the player becomes stuck and unable to suicide and getting into other vehicles which use a ladder to enter and exit. That is a long patch note here. As always, with the very first iteration of a new patch, you will be updated as we have new patches coming along this week. When should we expect Wave 1? We know that they want to be releasing this before the holiday break. The holiday is probably going to be coming by the 18th of December, I would assume. So we're probably going to have 2.5 weeks or maybe 3 weeks of PTU before it gets to live release. I would imagine that if they work really hard in Evocati, it should be reasonable to have perhaps a Wave 1 by next Friday 11th, with a possible release for the 17th or the 18th. And that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to the channel if you want to have further update. I try to make one video every day. And now, guys, it's time to play this message. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is The Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.